Hello everybody, welcome back to Simulated Heaven, and finally welcome back to Professional Farmer 2014. Now, to be honest, I'd kind of forgotten about this game. I'd been very busy with some other games, and I just completely, it didn't really cross my mind to continue the Let's Play on this game. So it's been a while. Can't really remember what I was doing, but there's a blue circle over here, so I believe I'm putting this back. Oh, am I? You have been paid 2,400. Attach seeder. Okay. So I think I just did something for a neighbour, didn't I? That was it. It was a while ago. Now, for some reason the game does not auto-save anymore. I just got like a message when I was starting here. And it doesn't auto-save anymore. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of a difference. It'd be interesting to see if there's any kind of a difference in the game, because I haven't played it for a while. So I'm trying to remember how do I? No, wrong button. For some reason it's not telling me the attachment, you know. Is it still attached? Let me just check. Oh, I think because I have it on going. There you go. There you go. Okay. Sorry about that. Because I haven't played the game for so long, I couldn't remember what the key was to unattach something, and for some reason it was not really telling me. I don't need fuel anyway. Oh, yeah. Cubes. Yeah, there you go. Fill the seeder in the warehouse. Okay. Now, I kind of feel there was a lot of interest in this game when it was first out, and then since then I think the interest has waned somewhat. I mean, I think it was quite interesting for a while for people, but you know, because it was a new farm simulator game and everything like that. So how do I? Oh, press enter the home magazine menu. Oh, so what am I supposed to fill it with? Oh, I can only fill it with wheat, and for some reason the menus are really glitchy now, as you can see. I don't know why that is. Yeah. Oh. Move to field. Okay. Lift it up. So yeah, I feel, oopsie. I feel like at the beginning there was quite a lot of interest in the game, but a new farm sim, and everyone was quite surprised at how good the game was. It was not very buggy, it seemed to work well, but I think then the problem is there were quite a lot of features that were not in the game. It basically has turned out to be a bit like, well, it's very similar to Farm Sim now, but it kind of is like a worse version of Farm Sim. I mean, I think the whole thing that made agricultural sim interesting is some of the dynamic features, but most of those, if not all of those, have kind of gone in this game. So you end up with a game which is it's only a single player game, it's not a multiplayer game. Soda Field. And therefore, it kind of turns out, like I said, into almost like a worse version of Farm Sim, if you know what I mean, because the features are very, very similar. Now, of course, the thing will be, let me see if I can get this right. The thing will be, now do I have to turn on the seeding? Is it going to go down? No, I think it's just going to go down. And I don't see any speed, there's no speed. Yeah, now, there is still no multiplayer in this game, so it's like, I do feel a little bit like, I mean, the game has now been out for quite a while, and I would say the game has not been updated as much as I would have hoped. They have updated the game, but really, they've not added that much. I thought they would maybe try and add multiplayer, I thought they would try and add some stuff. It hasn't really happened yet. It'll be interesting if we leave it a little bit longer, like to see if, you know, if they do add some things like the multiplayer. I mean, I didn't really expect the whole dynamic things that they used to have in agricultural sim. Apparently what happened was the engine that they were using for agricultural simulator, because for those of you who don't know, agricultural simulator was made by the same programmers as this game, essentially. But what happened was they changed the publisher from UIG to Playway, and I believe what happened was the engine that they were using for agricultural simulator, they were not able to license that when they then moved across onto Playway. So I've heard that that kind of means that this engine they're using now apparently is not good enough for them to add the dynamic features. Either that, or it will be very hard, or it will take a long time. So I would imagine if they do add those kind of dynamic features back into the game, like the dynamic terrain and things like that from Agricultural Sim 2013, if they do add that in, then it would take a while, and I would imagine it would be in the next version of this game, so it would be in the 2015 Professional Farmer at least. So I'm not really expecting that anytime soon is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so in the end, we'll see. I mean, I think I'm gonna give this game a bit more time, see if they do actually add stuff. Actually, when this video is over, I'm gonna go look at the changelog of the updates, because I've not really done that, just to see what they have added, because at the moment it feels pretty much exactly the same as what it was like when I was playing this game a few months ago. I mean, if any of you guys have been playing this game, I would love to know what you think, what your impressions have been, because of course it's always interesting to get, you know, everyone's ideas on a game. Yeah. I mean, it's a relatively fun game, but I think that you can't really underestimate the power of the online, because Farm Simulator was always quite a kind of, well, in terms of the features, it was always the worst game over Agricultural Simulator, but they had a game that was not very buggy, that had the ability for multiplayer and the ability for you to add your own mods. So those things have made that game really, really popular. So yeah, the power of multiplayer in this game is quite a big one. I mean, this game becomes these kind of games, I would say, become much more interesting when you can play with friends. But it's kind of a shame that the agricultural simulator ideas with all of the dynamic terrain were never really got working, and multiplayer was never really added. So that's kind of a shame, because I think that would have been really epic if you had all of those kind of dynamic features, and also if you had multiplayer as well. Or well, and obviously I would say that with this whole professional farmers thing, what I feel is I feel that they're trying to make a game which is more like Farm Sim, so that it can maybe get more popular. And I wouldn't be surprised if I heard that this game has already sold more than Agricultural Simulator. I mean, because it's a lot more user friendly, it's a lot less buggy and things like that. But having said all of that, if they are trying to go for the whole farm simulator crowd, then I would say they have to add the ability for you to mod the game, because I don't think a lot of people are going to come across from Farm Sim onto this in its current state, because everyone really likes the mods in Farm Sim, the fact you can add your own vehicles and everything and implements. So yeah, it's quite interesting, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully this game has done enough for it to survive and have a new version next year, and then we'll basically see after that, you know, if they do start adding enough for it to really compete with Farm Sim. Now I'm hoping when I've done this track here that it says that I've finished sowing the field, but I'm a bit worried that I've maybe missed a bit. But yeah, you see, I seem to remember it doesn't do it exactly, so. And I believe this is for my, well actually it didn't say if this was for my neighbour or if it was for me. Does it say? Oh, that's my field. Okay, cool. That's my field. That's not my, that isn't my neighbour's field, that's my field. Okay. I'm feeling a bit lazy, so let's see if we can just go across here like so. Yay! So let's put this back. What's it going to say now? See, in the whole career, neighbour's sower is broken down. Help him. Sow your neighbour's field. Okay, where's my neighbour's field? Let's go find my neighbour's field. Have I got enough in here? I think I have, unless it's a really big field. I'm sure it would have actually told me. Now, this is obviously the career mode, you see, but I'm gonna, you know, try to get quite far in the career mode, and then we'll see if there's any difference with like the free play kind of mode. Is that going to be like you can do your own stuff, make your own farm? I don't know. Okay, so this guy's trailer is like parked right in the way here. Right, so I need to sow this field. This looks like a bigger field to me. This, is it a bigger field? No, actually it's not. It's not. Is it this one? I'm just going to drive it here just to make sure it's this one. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's sow this field. Well, the game certainly works. The game is running quite smoothly. There are no kind of technical issues at the moment, so that's certainly an achievement, isn't it? Okay, let's sow the neighbour's field. Yay! Well, I think in general, in terms of the whole farm simulator thing, I would say over the past 5 years, 5 or 6 years, the whole idea of a farm sim has become much more mainstream, hasn't it? Which is really cool. Like, obviously, farm sim kind of started off as quite a niche game, and it was only on the PC. But the fact that I think it was last year they added farm sim onto the consoles, and not only that, it seems like the game was quite kind of popular on the what? Oh, there you go. I think it was quite kind of popular on the consoles as well. So, you know, that's really interesting, isn't it? That they've been able to get that far. Because, well, I mean, I've always been a fan of simulator games, but they've never been very mainstream. But I think they're finding out that, especially when you have a game with multiplayer, that there's actually a lot of people out there who are interested in these kind of games, like farm sim games and stuff. They even ported farm sim onto the 3DS, which is really funny. Really interesting, I should say, not funny, but you know what I mean? It was even on the 3DS, of all things. So it just kind of goes to show how, you know, if it is done well, you know, if the game is done well to a certain standard, and, well, I think especially if it has some kind of multiplayer as well, then it, you know, it's actually a fairly popular genre of games. Well, and then it kind of makes me think, like, Euro Truck Simulator 2 was really popular, I would say. It sold a lot. So then it would make me interested, would they try in the future to put that onto a console? Because that is a game that would easily be able to work on a console. The only thing I would wonder is the control schemes. I mean, I personally obviously like to play that game using steering wheel, but having said that, I'm sure there'll be a way that a lot of people could enjoy that using a controller. I'm sure they could, you know, have the controls sorted so that it would work well on a... Oh, have I got lights? Yeah. Sorry about that, I should have put my lights on. Lol. Excuse me. Yeah. So that would really interest me if they do in the future try and do that. I think the only thing that would maybe hinder them is obviously for you to develop a game onto a console. I think it's quite expensive because you need to pay quite a lot of money for various licenses, especially with Microsoft, and it's a slightly harder platform for you to get into. I mean, on a PC, the great thing about a PC is anyone can make a game, you can update the game for free, and you can update it easily. Like, you just need to post an update, whereas I think consoles is a lot more kind of complicated. But having said that, I believe if you get a game which is quite kind of console friendly that people enjoy on the consoles, then you can actually, you know, earn quite a lot of money, or you can actually make quite a lot of sales, I would say. So yeah, it's interesting. It'll be interesting. I mean, I'm really interested in the next few years, like, to see what happens with the simulation market in general. Because it seems like certain areas of it are kind of moving a bit more mainstream, you know, whereas before it was very niche. And I think in general that the quality of sim games has really gone up a lot. Okay, this is going to take a while. I don't think I'm going to run out of seed. I think I'm okay. But this is quite a big field, to say the least. Maybe I don't need to be quite as... Yeah. I don't think I need to be quite as perfect, because it usually will accept the job when it's not entirely finished, if you know what I mean. We'll see. It didn't say anything about what kind of thing I have to seed. Like, it didn't ask me to seed like a certain thing like wheat or corn or whatever. It just said go seed your neighbour's field. So he's obviously not very bothered what it is seeded with, eh? Just whatever. No, I believe. Oh, there you go. I was gonna. I was just going to say that I believe there ought to be a working light as well as a headlight. But in this game, it's quite easy. You just need to press the L button again, and it will put on the working light as well. So that's good. For those of you who have watched my other videos, you probably would have realised that probably my favourite aspect of these games is doing the harvesting. For some reason, I enjoy harvesting a lot, and that makes me think. I wonder if you can hire workers in this game. I have not heard anything about it, but I maybe need to look into it, because you see, I like the idea of hiring workers. I mean, I don't think that you have to hire workers in career mode, but when you have your own farm in like free play or whatever, I really like the idea of workers, because then I like the idea of being the guy that will manage everyone and then basically do harvesting when I feel like it, kind of thing. Anyway, I'll need to look into that, but I've not heard anyone say about hiring workers, because that was another thing. Like Agricultural Simulator 2013, one of the things that was a major issue for me, was the fact that the hired workers, I could not get the hired workers to consistently work, and it was really frustrating. Whoopsie. Because for me, that was a really big issue. Like, if they had fixed only that, then I think that game would have been pretty much playable for me, if you know what I mean. Like, I was able to get relatively far in Agricultural Sim 2013, but the fact that I could not consistently get my hired workers to work for me, they would sometimes just refuse to do a field, would mean that I would end up having like to do more of the ploughing and stuff, and I found it kind of boring. So that's kind of the, I mean, because all of the stuff, like, I very quickly worked out, you know, like in that game, you can collect eggs from your chickens, you can sell them at the market, you can do things with your cows, with milk and all that, but I've very quickly worked out that although that's a really cool feature in Agricultural Sim 2013, it is also very, very buggy, in that after a while, for whatever reason, it will just not work as intended, and it will bug out, and you know, so I kind of got to the point where I just assumed that was bugged out, so I just kind of stopped with all of that. So I would only be working the fields, but only working the fields was kind of fun anyway. But then when the hired workers stopped working in that game, then there's no way, then, you know, the whole idea of the game was ruined really after that. And yeah, I mean, obviously Agricultural Simulator is now completely dead. I mean, I don't know if UIG are going to try to resurrect that, but with a different group of developers. Now, where do I need to do? Oh, actually, if I look at this, yeah, there you go. It's actually going to show me. Oh. So actually, I believe I still have... Oh yeah, here it is. Sometimes I'm a bit of an idiot. But it definitely helps with that whole overview thing, doesn't it? Because that was another issue. I mean, I kind of found the ploughing and the seeding a little bit boring in Agricultural Sim if I have to do a lot of it on my own. But it wasn't only that, it was the fact that it was really hard for you to tell with the textures which part of the field had been worked, if you know what I mean. Now this is a really good feature in this game where it actually will show you on the map itself the bits that you have already done. So that's really cool, and if only they had that in Agricultural Simulator. So yeah, we'll see. Well, I mean, I also tried playing Historical Farming, which was another game that was made by the same developers, UIG, and was also made by the guys, you know, the coders that have made this game. But again, that was they didn't have any hired workers in that game, and it was kind of fun and it worked okay, but I had a really big issue in that game with it being very unoptimized. So even on my gaming PC, after a while I would get crazy lag. So that was kind of a shame, because I actually enjoyed that Historical Farming game, but the lag was just insane. And in the end, it kind of seemed like the more that you worked at a field and the older the field became, the more laggy it became, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it was not really an option, really. But anyway, I mean, I'm going to obviously keep... What? What? No, come on. This is not even my field. This is his field. So I don't care about that warning. I just want to finish the job, man. But yeah, like, I am going to keep on with this game. We'll see how it is. And I kind of mean to get something on the go with Farm Sim, but I never get around to it. Seriously, I never get around to it. There was a period of time where I tried to encourage some online stuff, but every time I was playing online, it seemed like there was no one else online with me, and because I'm in Hong Kong, I think the time zone is kind of messed up, kind of thing. But I have been meaning to try to get some kind of a series of Farm Sim together, but I just never get around to it. I don't know. But you see, then again, there's already, yay, there's already lots of other people who are making really good Let's Plays on Farm Sim. So, to be honest, there's not much of a need for that, is there? But I just thought it might be nice to try to find an interesting map and everything and have a go with it, but hey. Let's see if I can do a shortcut without crashing. There we go. Okay, so I think this is going to be a big seeding episode, to say the least. So I'm going to park the seeder, and then I'm going to leave it here. Detach seeder. I've been paid again, yay! So I think I need to put the seeder here. That's why there's a blue thing there. So yeah, I'll certainly do more videos on this game, see how it progresses, and yeah, let me just see if I can... No, I'm stuck already. No, there you go, park it in here, kind of. I think it's good. What's the button again to detach? There it is. Oh, and all my lights turned off. Okay, that was interesting. So it said that it was switching to the next round. Because it's the career mode, I think it just, you know, will fast forward the time. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.